Hello everyone, My City, My Voice Bookstore welcomes you to today's session of a very exclusive interview with author Bhagyashree Ranade, most appropriately characterized in a single line as the businesswoman who lives her passion. Let me give you a very brief introduction about the author herself. Hailing from Pune, Bhagyashree is a postgraduate from UK, Director at Connexus Private Limited and Discovery and Transition, founder of Marketing and Market Research Consultants, and founder trustee of Institute for Women Entrepreneurial Development Pune. She has co-authored Grassroots NGOs by Women for Women, the driving force of development in India. From Seva to Cyber Schools, the many faces of volunteering in India, Courage to Challenge and Change, a coaching story, Power of Professional Coaching, and many other publications. But today we are here to talk about her latest book that she has penned, Bookshelf Whisper. Welcome, ma'am, to our session, and thank you very much for joining with us. Komal. Hi, Komal. If you could just give a very brief introduction about yourself, and I think
I am a freelance writer and a book reviewer. I love reading books and reviewing the same, and I have read a Bookshelf Whispers by ma'am, that is Bhagyashree Ranade, and I would like to congratulate ma'am on this book because I love reading books that are based on love and fantasy. These both are among the favorite genres.
Like I've introduced you, you've been a businesswoman. So, what pursued, what made you pursue writing as? If you could just let us know.
So, first of all, thank you for having me here. I'm very happy to, talk to you about being an author and my book. So, to answer your question, yeah. I have inherited the legacy of my father, Pandit, who used to write. He was an author. He used to write a lot of books. I think I have inherited that skill from him, and the motivation that was given to me by my mother. That, I have a self-recognition, and also from that of my family. I'm a good storyteller. I would always keep people engaged for a long period of time, relating incidents and stories, making them laugh, shed tears, and keeping them wondering what comes next. This resulted in me taking pen to paper. My youngest to oldest used to tell me that, you're a good storyteller. Why don't you write down the stories you tell us? And this is how inspired me to get into writing. Apart from this, I have, as you have mentioned, I have written other books. So from 1997, being a part of a group of authors who have authored several books, and that also inspired me to write more. Those books are basically on the social sector, but that really got me into writing and the understanding of methodology of writing as a result of being with my co-authors. Now, apart from this, what really inspired me to write this particular book, Love, Life and Legacy, was the fact that my grandfather had a very antique shelf which was housed in the Wada. These books housed numerous authors, unknown and known, handed down from the ancestors. Standing in the attic in the Wada, this bookshelf, I always felt that it was whispering some stories. that's how I got motivated to writing this book, bookshelf titled Bookshelf Whispers on Love, Life, and Legacy. To write this book, I have had a personal experience of staying in a vada which belonged to my maternal grandparents, and that's how I spoke about the bookshelf in the loft. And of course, at that time, I mean, we were much younger, but these memories are always carried forward. For a long time, I was, contemplating on writing something because I thought it's very important to write about the Vada community, which have lapsed or, it doesn't exist anymore, so that more readers would come to know about it. So, the book itself was based on 4 protagonists, Kinsa and Emily, who form the love story of the book. Some of the characters are fictional and some are true. These stories have actually really happened, per se. And I was also inspired by writing about the people in the Vada, particularly my grandparents, my parents who lived over there, and all the stories that emanated from that. There's been a great legacy of that Vada, where my grandfather inherited from his father, Peshwa times. And so it carried forward that Maratha culture and, the architecture and the various beauty that you see in the Vada per se. That's how I got down to writing about the community. People also are included in this, not only Surya and Gayatri, who are the owners of the Prabhu Vada, many other residents who I felt really impacted upon community life. So I've started from when they were younger to when they became older, and taken forward their legacy. People would know exactly what the community life was and what transpired afterwards.
Ma'am, what I personally feel is Bookshelf Whispers, even though it does have a love story in the middle, but I personally don't feel that a love story is all how we can characterize Bookshelf Whispers. There is so much more to Bookshelf Whispers than a love story that you just explained. It's also about the architecture, the Vada culture of Pune, and memories of childhood. So, ma'am, if you could just highlight on the significance of Vada and the Vada culture.
So, the Vada per se has been since very, 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 very long time. These structures at times were inherited by people who were a part of the Peshwa. And the characteristic of the Vadas were the big courtyards in between, housing around it, especially the house. I've talked about the staircase, which many times can be talked about as a heritage staircase, the wooden staircase, the railing, the beautiful architecture, the arch-shaped windows and doors, and it really makes a beautiful picture. Vadas many times do exist, and many people have restored their Vadas. Yet, the culture per se came from a long time ago. For example, I will talk about the Prabhu Vada. It housed more than 100 families.
Okay.
Prabhu Vada started from one side of the Shanwar Vada, went on to nowadays where we have the Budwarpet, where we have all the bookstores. And right from Prabhat Talkies going on to where the Ganpati temple is. So it was, I believe it would be more than even 100 acres. It's like corridors in between, where you would find children running around, and you would go from one end to the other, and you wouldn't know how you reach there. So the beauty of these vadas, has spoken about by many people. Talked about how about a community feeling, or lived as if it was one family together, festivals together, and so there are many aspects of the Vada showcased as an heritage that we all have. Why we should be proud of.
Yes, you've written a lot of books on women characters mainly, and also you have always advocated for growth of women in their career. And even in your book, Gayatri, I think she is a very strong character. She a woman who has lived life inside. So if you could just highlight about Gayatri, how the character came into your mind, an overview of Gayatri.
So, Gayatri is actually the story on Gayatri is a combination of a number of characters of Gayatri's childhood, when she lost her mother very early, and how her siblings, she had to suffer a little bit in the family. Then as she grew up, to study, that contains some of the chapters of her growing up. She was very motivated by her father to become somebody, to become someone, to do something good in life, because he recognized that she was an intellectual and that she had great ability. Now, as life panned out for Gayatri, got married to Surya, who is again an extremely wonderful character. Truly magnificent character, as I would say. And she really supported him during those years when he was in the army, because he was housed, he was posted, in the non-family areas. And she held the family together, and that's how she developed that strength which she already innately had, but she had the opportunity to bring it out into the open of being able to look after a family, especially when husband was not around. And you know how difficult it is to, children, and how dedicated you have to be to them. So she really did that very well. Gayatri really comes as she grows older, where she found that, she had, when she was alone, never had Surya by her side. She realized that she has great entrepreneurial skills. Because of not having had a, she was not able to do that, but she developed her whole system, household, and her financial stability and everything so well. Written in the book. Now she really lived a life king size. If I could describe Gayatri to you, she was a blue-eyed, very diminutive woman of 4 feet 8 inches. But she was a very strong character.
Right.
She is one of the protagonists in the book who indicates or shows people how one can come out of that comfort zone and start thinking. And it's not easy to build a life alone, but she did, and with an aplomb. So it is kind of a true story, and we all are very proud of that. Really, who was an exchange student who came to the Vada as a result of being the daughter of a friend of Surya's, who he had met during his army years in England, in a completely different culture, as one knows. And she came to India, and as I've written into the book, she met Akinsa and loved with him. What's most important about the character Emily is how she built up a relationship not only with Akinsa but also with Dhruv, the younger boy, and helped him in his and in his behavior patterns which had an issue, and the same was with Akinsa also. So it shows strong character. Emily also shows the broad vision, that acceptance that fallen in love with Akinsa, I'm ready to adjust to a family. Housed in a very small place, like I've described the settlement in which, or the residence in which Akinsa lived. She was enamored with that because she had seen something so big that, that pillow which said the welcome on it, the pillow cover, which is doesn't exist nowadays so much. But all those things really made her very excited. She was ready to culturally, change or accept. Talk about the cultural differences. There were a lot of cultural differences. Sometimes love from that, sometimes doesn't. And the main part, which I feel was very important in her thinking, was the fact that she was ready to learn, to accept, and to be a part of a family which was different from hers. And look,
how do you gathered enough knowledge of this theme of this book? From throughout only bedtime stories or your own experience?
Well, this was, the theme of the book actually has come from my own experiences of community. And if I talk about the theme of a book, then, I already had some ideas about it. I had some thoughts about it. The memory is already ingrained in me. Some amount of research on various subjects which, I wanted to write about in the book. So a lot of a pre-preparation on developing the theme of the book. But I arrived at the theme. I wanted it to be not only a love story, but I wanted to showcase strong characters, particularly the women. Now, Renu is a very strong woman. To be a very strong woman, getting out of her comfort zones. Renu, of course, is a strong woman right from the very beginning. Is lot many more things than just being a love story, but the theme of it, to carry it through the book like a thread, a ribbon which goes through various parts, tying up different chapters with the others, some sort of a flow to it, in carrying the theme, which is the central idea, throughout. For example, I could just give you one example. I've started a bookshelf and the whispers from the bookshelf. That's why it's called Books and Whispers. you will find a mention of the bookshelf and books and characters right till the last chapter where Emily goes and stands as she is going to leave. She goes up and she stands in the bookshelf. Looks back at her life, brought to her, and what the people in the Vada brought to her.
I would like to read out 4 lines from the book, and I would like you to explain the meaning of it in a short. Okay, so the lines are: it is easy enough to be pleasant when life flows like a song, but the man worthwhile is the man who can smile when life goes dead wrong. So how do you relate yourself to these 4 lines? I mean, how do you relate, and how do the story, I understood how do the story relate, but how do you relate yourself to these 4 lines? If you could explain it in short.
This particular, paragraph, it relates, how do I relate to it? Is that the question you're asking me? Or how does Gayatri relate to it?
No, I am asking how do you relate? Because how does Gayatri relate that I...
So basically, if one looks at life, or I look at myself, I think that life does flow like a song. Sometimes there are sad songs, sometimes there are happy songs. Those depict the peaks and troughs of your life, which those depict the peaks of your life, which everyone goes through. And what I feel is that just dealing with issues and being positive, trying to find a solution to anything that might come your way, and keep smiling even when life goes dead wrong. That is the kind of goal that I have in my mind. And that's why when I found this reading or the writing, I thought how beautiful it is and how it applies to everyone else. It's how you look at it and how you deal with it. And I think that is what I did myself. And so did Gayatri. If you look at the years and calculate, then Surya died very early at the age of 73. Gayatri died at the age of 94. So that was a long, long time in between. And there were many ups and downs. Forget the ups and downs before, but during those 30 years, there were many ups and downs, there were many difficulties. But I can only tell you, because I have this vision of Gayatri, a very sweet, smiling face, always smiling. You would never know that she was facing some difficulty.
Ma'am, in the book, there are, I think every paragraph of the book holds a very special significance, and not just the paragraphs of the book, the title of the book, as you explained earlier. So, ma'am, is there any significance related to the color of the book cover? The cover of the book is, if you could let us know.
So this, this first of all is my favorite color.
Okay.
The shuttle blue color. What it does is it depicts a steady, it depicts a calm. I mean, if you were looking at a pool of water, blue inside, then you feel a calmness or a serenity in you. And I always felt that, this color gives out the best in you, gives out the best in a person. stands for emotion. Stands for emotion and tranquility. And that is what I've tried to bring through the book. It's an emotion. There are some chapters which are very emotional. And most of all, how do I, compare it to the Vada? I mean, why is it that there is a Vada picture over there, a sketch? Because, the Vada was made of wood, which had a very beautiful technology of retaining, and during the summer season, so not getting hot. So these walls used to throw some sort of tranquility into the atmosphere. It was cool, peaceful, calm. And then I also thought that, that sort of blue also brings a little bit of intrigue. That question of intrigue as to what is going on over here. And there were things on the Vada, which some people liked, some people didn't like. The love between Emily and Akinsa, where finally everyone was of view that there was something. They were worried as to how this was going to be, how this would out in the future. So I thought that the color really brought about that. And then the other sketches which are on the book are also, according to me, very important because they showcase Pune. All the important parts of Pune and the significance of those in the book, because every chapter has got, most of the chapters have got these sketches at the beginning. So, when the reader opens the book or looks at the book, I think one of the striking things is the cover of the book, the sketches of the book. That they would open it and they would browse it and feel like reading the book, translating to something better. So that color became very important.
With this, I think we should conclude our session today. And thank you, everyone. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Komal. Thank you, Shrita, for joining with us. And I think it was a very enriching session. And for those of you who haven't yet read the book, you can get hold of the book from MCMV Bookstore. You can check our website. Her book is listed there. And also, if you want to know more about the significance of the book, which is a beautiful amalgamation of culture, of heritage, memories of childhood, and a love story, please do go through her blogs, the author's blogs. The link is there in the description section. So thank you everyone for joining in with us. And with a smile, like ma'am said, let us conclude this session. We hope the very best for you, ma'am, and we will definitely look forward to more of your writings in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, all of you, the viewers, Inachi, and thank you for having me here today. I'm very, very pleased to do this interview.
Thank you so much.